during the past several decades, and what is the scope of this industry in our country. And compared to world standards, we are still back. I'll be showing in a slide because 80% of the world economy GDP is contributed by service sector, and I'll come to that. As our introducer said, thanks for the nice introduction. The person who introduced me said, I've been in the service industry for the last 33 years. I have served in pharmaceuticals, logistics, IT, communication, and most of the career time has been in insurance industry. And it's a person to person and business to business transactions. And for the last 20 years, I am in business to business. I'm dealing with business to business customers. Highly motivated by few self-help groups. I'm talking about, say, 33 years back. We were motivated by self-help groups. Those were the only things available at that time. And of course, training from master trainers from Bombay. It was Mumbai at that time. And I'm sorry, it is Mumbai now. It was Bombay at that time. We were first of the kind of those marketing executives or salespeople who started this, what do you call it, selling service or concepts to the people. Those were very tough times, but those were good times. Tough because you had to sell the concept first and then the company. Our new methods of approaching customer was an instant hit at the time, and we ended up selling computers, believe me, worth rupees 1.5 lakhs to offices and to some rich shopkeepers. And they advertised that their shop is computerized, and their 1.5 lakh computer needed a room with air conditioner and all. So now, you know, it has changed. Now our smartphones, you know how fast they are and how sophisticated they are. And we are talking about 100 Mbps now connections. Now, these computers were able to perform some simple programs, old-time computers, and some typing of letters and some in crude formats compared to today's standards. Anyway, those were nice beginnings. I believe that we, the marketers, were able to develop a culture of innovation. I underline that word, innovation, among the firms, among the customers with purchasing power and need by adopting these technological advances. There was not stopping there. It has grown like anything, and it has grown to a big extent. Now it is contributing more than 60% of our economy. Now we see that the firms constantly upgrade and they change to remain in business. Every day they change. If you go to cities, especially the commercial capital of Kerala, Ernakulam, we see that change is there every day, every week change is there. That complacency cannot be accepted, and the customer has changed. Those who are complacent, they fade out. We see that in our front. Now, actually, the situation is slightly difficult. We are in the midst of a pandemic. It's almost 1 year, and it's going to continue for some period of time. At least 2 to 3 years, the pandemic will remain. And later on, it will be a part of our life. Still, and now itself is a part of our life. And this technological advancement, see, I am talking to you through web-based services, and it was not there. It was not in vogue earlier. Before this pandemic, it was not there. It was very rare. We had video conferences and all, but this webinar and all those things, it was very rare. Now see how it has changed, and the work from home culture has changed the industry, service industry. So it's very cost effective and very productive also, they say, and now the studies have to come. Pre-pandemic times were very smooth. Many areas were emerging due to the usage of sophisticated tools provided by technology, and especially web-based ones. And we were using that on a daily basis. And it was part of our life. Just only 10 years, it is only 10 years now, we have been using these sophisticated tools. From the fisherman to the high CEO, they are using the same kind of technology. It is unbelievable. This mobile phone revolution, the smartphone revolution, it is a backbone of the boom of the service industry. The way of marketing was fully changed by the advent of internet-based activities. See, I'll tell you, in '98, we had 1 or 2 internet cafes in my hometown. My hometown is Kollam, near Trivandrum. So we paid 120 rupees per hour for 1 hour browsing. There was Hotmail, Rediff Mail, and also Yahoo. and the search engine was Netscape Navigator. So it was very difficult. You know, this 120 rupees in those days, it was huge. And we had some account also, 1,000 rupees per month we used for some package was there. So how it has changed, how in 20 years, in 2 decades, unimaginable change. And we can't go back. Now it's every day it is progressing. For the ease of today's analysis, we can have a pre-pandemic, pandemic and post-pandemic scenarios. When I was asked to prepare for this webinar, I took some facts and figures from the web itself and from reliable sources. It was actually really surprising because service industry, it's around 60% during this pandemic times. Web-based services boomed during this pandemic times. And I was also a very good customer. It was very useful to me when I was in lockdown. It was very useful to the customer who was forced to be confined to his house due to the restrictions imposed on movement and socializing. Still it is there. Say people who are above 60, they cannot move out much. So they depend on such services because it's curbed the spread of the viral disease. Even though vaccination is there, we have to be more and more careful, but the efficacy has to be proved. And some other messages also coming from Europe. We have more than one vaccine now. So we have to, sometimes we all have to adopt that vaccine at least for 1 year. I don't know whether the efficacy will last more than 1 year. Okay. During the pre-pandemic times, from banking to groceries, from education to entertainment, healthcare to hospitality, fast food to fresh fish, apparels to footwear, we depended on online services to select and purchase. I was one of the first clients of Flipkart. I was interested because they were giving books for a lesser price, reduced price. So I purchased a lot of books from Flipkart, and they got a very good leverage over Amazon, 6 to 7 years leverage. Within this 7-year leverage, they made billions of dollars. So Amazon came later, and Flipkart also changed. So in this 10 years, everybody got access to the web, and there are a number of companies providing these services. Both the customers and companies benefited from the new development. As a customer, I benefited very much because I used to taste Lakshmi Narayan Chivda from Pune in 3 days' time of my ordering. And Iyengar wheat doshapudi from.
Sorry for the interruption. Sorry for the interruption.
Yes, sir.
It would be nice if you are able to show the slide, because I think that you are explaining without referring the slide.
Yes, sir. Sure, I'll start that.
Yeah, that would be nice because you are explaining some factual points, but if you show the slide, it would be very
sure, sir.
Comfortable as far as the audience are concerned. That is why.
Yes, sir. Sure. This was only an introduction. So now I'll be going to the slide.
Okay.
So anyway, now we have to innovate. It's a time for innovation. Innovation has always powered progress. Thanks to digital technology in particular, the power is greater than ever. So I'll take the suggestion. I'll go to the slide now. One second. Is the slide visible, sir?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now I start some slides. I have prepared some slides for you. It was a brief introduction.
You can show in full screen.
Yeah, it's full screen, sir.
Okay. Now it is okay. Please proceed.
Sir, as I said, friends, as I said earlier, this is one slide which I took for the class, and I was really surprised. You just see that service industry is contributing 54.77% to the GDP. And as our director said, industry is 27.4% and agriculture 17.76%. So major one is financial, real estate and other professional services, 20.95%, trade and hotels 18%, public administration, defense and other services 15.74%. And agriculture industry, which is less than service industry. This is last year's figure. Now, I'll go to the next slide where there are some more details. Our service sector is the largest one in India. The gross value added at current prices, that is the GDP plus subsidies minus taxes, that is gross added value, in current prices is 100.46 lakh crore in Indian rupees 2019-20. Our gross value added is 183.43 lakh crores. Sector-wise, Indian GDP composition is services 61.5%, industry 23 and agriculture 15.4. See how relevant it is. Now, now we have initiatives called Make in India and all. IT is a booming sector. There is a robust demand for IT-related services. India is an export hub for software services. The Indian IT outsourcing service market is expected to grow, say, around 8 to 9% in 2021-24. And healthcare industry is also expected to grow, including this Ayurvedic and all those things. We have a very good competitive advantage because India is lucky. Our average age is 28. We have a large pool of skilled manpower, especially in the area of IT and IT-enabled services. And it is cheap also. Cheap and the best, I'm telling, because almost everywhere in Silicon Valley and also everywhere, they are providing the best services. And rapidly increasing youth population, they are looking to migrate from other areas to service sector. Very good support from the policy is there, government is there. There are several policies making India and several subsidies, several loans and all they are providing now for service sectors. So that encouragement is there, that will be made useful. And foreign direct investments are now, yesterday, the insurance industry, they have passed foreign direct investments up to 74% in insurance industry. So we'll be seeing a huge inflow of foreign direct investment, not only in insurance industry, other industries also. So it's going to grow like anything, and which will provide very boom to economy and also large scale employment opportunities will be there in the coming years. As I said, the service sector is the dominant sector in Indian economy and world economy too. India's economy, actually, it's around the GDP is around 3 to 4% of world. There is a good scope for and ninth in Asia. It has good scope for improvement. Luckily, the government of India recognizes the importance of promoting growth in servicing sector. Their actions are based on that. They provide several incentives and attract significant foreign investment by changing the policies, as we have seen yesterday. And they are giving emphasis to export also to earn good foreign exchange. And it provides large-scale employment. As you know, friends, IT-enabled and IT services, millions are employed and they are contributing very much. They are earning very much, and several startups are also coming. They are earning a lot of money. They are widening their reach to international locations also. Now, this is a comparison with India and other world economies. See, India's gross value added is 53.2% in service sector, and employment in service sector is 28.6% of the total employment. And how about US? It's 80%. Employment contribution from service sector is 80% and 79.3% as far as gross value added is concerned. UK is almost the same. Brazil, Mexico, and China, that figures are there. Everywhere it is higher than India. So it shows that we have very good scope for improvement in this area. At least very huge growth can be expected. We can reach to the tune of 80%, just like the US. So just wait for 3 or 4 years this to happen. All the policy changes from the government and initiatives are directed towards this. The road ahead, service sector growth is governed by domestic and global factors. We have been in this business to provide manpower to the service industries outside. Now we have industries here, we have firms here who use the manpower. There are certain problems and challenges also that I will be discussing. The Indian facilities management market is growing at 17% compound annual growth rate, supported by booming real estate, retail, and hospitality sectors. Slightly recession was there, slightly reduction was there in this, but now it is picking up very nicely. In 2023, healthcare industry is expected to reach US dollars 132 billion. 1 billion is 7,261 crore Indian rupees. India's digital economy is estimated to reach 1 trillion, as said by our director today. 2023, India's IT and business services sector is expected to reach US dollars 14.3 billion with a phenomenal 8% growth. It's good growth. There are certain issues and challenges, as I mentioned earlier. Marketing and managing services present issues and challenges not faced by manufacturing and packaged goods companies. Because as we know, the characteristics of services, it is highly perishable, is intangible, and inseparable, heterogeneous. We have studied that from our textbooks. And the pricing, cutthroat competition is there in the pricing. Another problem is that our service quality is not measurable. Demand also fluctuates because of several incidents. Customer expectations are very high because they expect the same kind of service always or better service. And sometimes they make it frequently disappointed. As a customer of Amazon, I got disappointed when they delayed one of my packets. And a packet was not delivered at all. I was disappointed, so I complained. Then one person talked to me. 100 times we have given you best service. One time we failed. So kindly pardon and give us more chance to serve you. So that happens. Organizations have cut costs and they are too understaffed to provide quality service. I'll give you an example. I am a customer of Escortel Idea Vodafone. Why I tell that? Because I took my mobile phone connection 20 years back. That was Escortel at that time. You have seen that Escortel advertisements. They always show smiling people, have smiling and happy people. That showed that the services were hassle-free. And when it became Idea also, they continued the same advertisement. They were actually complaint handling and all. It was good, excellent people they had in the call centers. And they were the first to introduce the term smartphone. They were calling it Escortel smartphone. Now I was happy with their service. I am still continuing that number. And now it is Vodafone. Once it became Vodafone, what happened is I went from Kozhikode to Ernakulam for a visit when it got merged. Suddenly, when I reached the Ernakulam sector, that range, my mobile SIM got silent. I was using that SIM for the last 5 years. It got silent. So some change was there. I had to take another SIM. I had very much trouble. The call center was not okay. They were not providing me good service. I became really dissatisfied because actually I was expecting that kind of service, that Idea Escortel service. Now I have to live with it because there is no other go. I'll tell you why. It is less skilled people working in frontline service jobs because, as I said earlier, it's cheap manpower. The talented workers leave for better opportunities. Many companies strive for customer focus and service quality, but fail to provide training. Unfortunate, it's really unfortunate, I'll tell you. They fail to provide training, compensation, and support for employees needed to actually deliver the quality service. I've seen in several places. I used to, as a marketing person, I used to highlight this and talk to them. I never get annoyed, but I know their problem because they are underqualified. They are not up to the mark. It is not their fault because they have been given that this thing to serve the customer. They are not able to do that. They have to they will give good training and deliver good quality service. Now services has become a business imperative. Previously, service industries such as banking, transportation, hospitality, and healthcare were dominant. The traditional service industries evolved and have become much more competitive. Now I find a hoarding in my junction here. They have advertised regarding one surgery, some liver transplant surgery or something like that. So it has reached to that extent now. And they are advertising for that block removal, angioplasty, and all those things. They are also like that FMCG companies. The need for effective services management and marketing strategies has increased multifold. Companies have discovered the value of service innovation and growth strategies. They have discovered the potential for service-led growth. An excellent product alone will not guarantee long-term success. I repeat, an excellent product alone will not guarantee long-term success. I will give you an example of Skoda. It is called Skoda automobile. It is a Czech car manufacturer. Excellent product, but the service was very bad initially. Now, actually, they have increased the quality of service, and the response is also nice. They have reduced the spare part price. Now they are getting very good business. They are actually emerging in this Indian market. So I'll tell you, excellent product will not guarantee long-term success. You have to back up with service and good people also. As the 7 P's, extended 7 P's of service marketing say, we will come to that. Customers are demanding services and solutions, especially in B2B markets, as I know because I am in a B2B market. Services often have higher profit margin than products because you need not manufacture anything. You only have to have some infrastructure. Services aid firms to customize their offerings, adding value for customers. You have to customize or perish because customers are knowledgeable now. They know everything. So they demand more. Customers demand a solution for the problem that involves multiple products and services. They look for their providers to create and deliver service solutions. They develop services and enhance customer loyalty through high quality service. And it is a services revolution now. The trends are, it is based on technology. Specifically, information technology is shaping the field. Through the smartphone, we can reach anywhere and ask for any kind of service, instant, real-time service. And the banking, everything is from smartphone now. And we are very happy also because we need not go to the bank or insurance company for their service. And for ordering, you need not go for shopping somewhere or in a mall or something. You can have a mall in your smartphone itself. It profoundly influenced the practice of service marketing. Service marketers have to be very, very careful because the word of mouth, the reviews, everything is there. People are very sensitive to that. The IT is causing a service revolution. It results in the expansion of the service sector. This increases the importance of services in all categories of the economy. Because if the customer get the taste of good service from one company, he expects the same taste from other companies also, from service also. Otherwise, he will give a bad review or he give a bad word of mouth and all. Technology-based offering, service offering is more important. Technology is the main word. Technology is the basic force behind service innovations. Automated voicemail and IVRS, interactive voice response system. Cell phones, any ATMs and other common services were possible only because of these new technologies. Internet revolution resulted in a host of new services, especially in this pandemic era. Internet-based companies offering services previously unheard of. That means food delivery at your footsteps and any kind of food. And that also offers are also there. 50% off, 25% off, everything is there. And you can ask for anything from them. Innumerable service applications are there. Millions of service applications are there. Even established companies find that the internet help to offer new services, established companies. And they have diversified also into service sector. Most of the big firms have diversified into services sector. Technology is also evolving. It makes services, existing services more accessible, convenient, and productive. It facilitates basic customer service functions, bill paying questions, asking questions, checking account records, order tracking, etc., transactions, both retail and B2B, and learning and information seeking. Evolving technologies have changed customer service forever. From telephone-based service, olden days it was telephone-based service, to IVRS. Now IVRS is also fading out. It is now based on internet-based customer service, and it has reached the point of wireless service now. Actually, technology enables both customers and the employees, because if the employees want to reach some customer, know about the customer, they will simply go to the social media page or simply go to the customer database, and they will come to know the customer, what are his preferences, how we handle that. And another thing also, the dark side of this is that customers enter their data in the web, in their email, in the social media, and this data is used by the companies to know their preferences, offer the product, offer the services. I simply type something, Kashmir apple, immediately I'll get an email or some pop-up from some company which gives Kashmir apple. 1 kg of Kashmir apple is this much, and we'll give you a package, something like that. They will tell. It's happening. So it's not secure. That also is there. You know what I mean. Self-service technologies help customers to serve themselves more efficiently. Via online banking, customers can access their accounts and take care of any banking need. I am a happy customer, banking customer, and also an insurance customer, because I need not go to an insurance company to pay premium for my vehicle. Now I can do it through my smartphone. Online shopping and hundreds of service applications available via the internet. Smartphones have transformed the lives of consumers forever, and they are very happy. I am a very happy consumer. Through social media, individuals and companies can communicate and collaborate with each other as well. So co-creation is the word here. They can collaborate, they can develop new concepts, they can they can customize the scheme, services, and actually make money out of it, and the customer also will get satisfied. And how technology is going to help the employees? It makes them more effective and efficient in delivering service. As I said earlier, they can know the preferences of the customer, and they can do some data mining for that. From that, they can formulate something, they can emerge something which will be beneficial to the customer and also to the company. Customer relation management and sales support software platforms help in providing better service. They know the preferences and can offer services or products. Information about the product and service offering, as well as the particular customers, it is readily available to the employees, and it helps employees to customize the services to fit customers' needs. And you can retain the customer by this, better than times when most customer and product information was in files, and nobody will go through the files. It is very difficult. Files will be somewhere. You cannot go there, and every time you cannot go there and search for the record. So it has changed the service sector forever. Now, actually, I am working for Life Insurance Corporation of India in Pension and Group Schemes Department for the last 20 years. So I know very much about the customers' individual sales. Also, I practiced for 10 years selling insurance as a development officer. I had several insurance advisors with me. I used to go to people and talk to them and sell insurance. Later, I have promoted as a class 1 officer, manager. And now I deal with companies, firms, etc., selling them fund-based products, fund management products, and also group insurance products. It has shown a big change after the privatization of insurance industry. The insurance sector has changed a lot. It has seen a boom in the insurance sector, and the Life Insurance Corporation of India is still growing at, remaining at 80% with 80% market share, almost 80% market share. Even though there are 24 life insurance and 33 non-life insurers, LIC leads the life insurance sector, very vibrant sector. So actually, to highlight the services marketing mix and the innovation, I have just I'll just go through the 7 Ps where LIC of India has adopted for the academic purpose. LIC of India and GIC are in the public sector. I have to add one word to that, still in the public sector. 75% to 80% market share of life insurance industry is with LIC. The overall market size of insurance sector is expected to be US dollars 300 billion in 2021. Life premium 7.31 trillion and 14% year-to-year growth, year-over-year growth. Why? Because this growth. Why this growth? It is, as I said, there is huge amount of foreign direct investment, large-scale opportunity. The market penetration is higher than ever. The demographic factors have helped this. The growing middle class, the need for insurance as well as a young insurable population has grown. There is growing awareness for the need of protection because we are depending on several loans and all. So based on our human life value, we go for this insurance products to get risk cover. And of course, we are an aging population also because our people are living more now. The lifespan is increasing. So retirement planning supports growth because Life Insurance Corporation of India has annuities and retirement products, pension products. A brief performance of a slide about performance of Life Insurance Corporation of India. It was established in 1956. It is the largest financial institution. Their claim settlement ratio is 98%, is the world highest. It has international operations and joint ventures. The total income last year was 6,15,882.94 crores. And total premium income was 3,79,062.56 crores. Payments made to policyholders in claims 2,54,222 crores. Another important figure, the total life fund with LIC is 31,14,496.05 crores. I don't know how many zeros you require to write that figure. It's a very huge figure. And total assets 31,96,214.81 crore. So this studying about this organization is most relevant. So from 1956 to 2021, it has grown to this extent. Mostly the growth happened during the last 20 years. You know, this during the last 20 years, the IT, internet-enabled services flourished. So it has helped the Life Insurance Corporation to grow and still helps the corporation to grow. As far as the products are concerned, before that, the business in force, small slide, it is around 28.92 crore. 28.92 crore of Indian population is covered. And from group policies, the lives covered are 11.36 crores. It shows that a good number of population is still to get covered under insurance. The several products offered, I am not naming any product. These are all broad classification of the products. As I said earlier, I am actually going through the service marketing mix of LIC for just academic purpose. LIC has endowment products, which is insurance plus saving product, very successful product. Term assurance product, that means it's very cost effective. It provides risk cover for a certain period of time for a higher sum assured. Children's product, that's also savings plus insurance product. Pensions and annuities. Pensions are pension is a benefit. Annuity is the method of payment of that benefit. That products are there. Most of the private firms and private banks are opting that. We have micro insurance, which is for the rural market and small scale financial institutions. Health insurance plans is a recent introduction covering so many diseases, not like the GIC Mediclaim and all. This is different. It provides life cover also. And of course, recent fad, it's a unit linked plans. It's based on the market structure. The returns are also like that. Anyway, it is also doing well. These are all the high-class, top-class, successful products of Life Insurance Corporation of India. Names change, these products will be different, the structure also will be different, but this is the broad, fundamentally, these are the products offered by Life Insurance Corporation of India. Next is pricing. Our next P is pricing. There is a huge differentiation in these products. So it helps the customers, all types of customers, to opt for the insurance products. There are schemes for salaried class and for all. And there are schemes for high net worth individuals. Pension plans are there for individuals and also for companies. Group plans are there, group term assurance, group funded schemes and annuities. And even all the private banks in Kerala, Federal Bank, South Indian Bank, Catholic Syrian Bank, and or Dhanlakshmi Bank, and erstwhile Lord Krishna Bank, now it is HDFC, they have all opted for this annuities for their pension provision. Gratuity and superannuation scheme. As you know, friends, gratuity is equivalent to salary, which is given to the employees at the time of their exit. And the fund management, there is a scheme for LIC for fund management. There is a gratuity scheme. Superannuation scheme means it's a pension scheme, just to build a corpus to get pension at the time of retirement or at the time of exit. And of course, the Life Insurance Corporation of India has been authorized to service the social security schemes of government and also NGOs. These are highly subsidized schemes. You must have heard of the Pradhan Mantri Jeevan Jyoti Bima Yojana. That is 2 lakh risk cover for a nominal sum of 300 rupees per year. So that is that's also serviced by LIC. They have nationwide presence. How to place the product, reaching every corner of the country. 5,000 plus offices, branch offices, satellite offices, micro offices, and others. To help the customers to render the service, they have 1,14,498 employees, and for the sales and marketing, they have 1.31 million agents all over India. They are going digital. They have customer portal where they get service, surrender quotations and all. They get service from the customer portal. Payment gateway is there to make premium payments. Net banking facility, e-wallets, debit and credit card acceptance. They have My Mobile app, LIC mobile app. They are also accepting Paytm, PhonePe, Google Pay, and also through partner banks. So the service is rendered through all these new applications and new facilities. So customer is at ease for getting the service. And the corporate communication, it is promoted as brand LIC. It is contemporary and appealing to all segments. Usage of visual, print, and digital media is there. We must be seeing every day in the print and visual media. LIC provides sponsorships, various types of sponsorship for events. Periodic campaigns are there. We see in the newspapers and other media. They make sure that the brand is present in all possible channels every time. Excellent PR activities and corporate social responsibility activities are there. It's all over India. It's seen all over India. And once LIC of India sponsored the Nehru Trophy boat race also. So it happens like that. As I said earlier, all these people, LIC people, provide personalized service. That's how it has grown to this extent with 80% of the market share. Expert and qualified personnel, the human touch. I'm talking about people, another P in the service marketing mix. There are many avenues for job enrichment in this organization and also job enhancement and prospects for job elevation. The corporation reaches the customers through several channels, including mobile phone, and there are segment-wise customer meetings also to know the customer, to collaborate, to co-create. All sorts of initiatives are there, and including the newly discussed the disruptive innovation also. Some avenues have opened up by this collaboration, and co-creation is the new word now, especially in the funded schemes, in the customized schemes market. And I'm dealing with that. I'm very happy to offer customers to my customers. It's very flexible now. And as you know, services are intangible. So some tangible thing we have to provide. The service environment, that is a service environment. from the government public sector culture, it has slightly moved to a better service environment with providing ambient offices and outlets, state-of-the-art servicescape, all sorts of facilities are there for providing services, personal and web-based initiative, and even they have a chat also now, web chat to get services. It's very convenient and accessible. It's transparent and has good clarity. So the intangibility actually is overcome by this service environment. Next is the ease of delivery. There is smooth operational flow now because it's fully IT based. There is personal and digital follow-up for continuous service. There are standardized procedures. The same kind of procedure as there in Trivandrum and in Imphal. So the customer is happy if he goes from here to there, transferring one policy from here to Kashmir, Srinagar, he gets the same service. Another thing which I have to tell you is that pre-sales and post-sale service, not only the real-time service, pre-sales and post-sale service is very important. I was sitting in a car showroom here nearby in Kozhikode. I was searching for some good car for my friend. So one annoyed guy came to me and told, these people are very bad. They are providing, he has paid the check for one big car manufacturer. He told me their pre-sale service is very bad because the skill of the employees was very low. And I too felt like that. Now it was 5-6 years back. I don't know how they have changed or not. I don't know. The pre-sale service is very important. Yeah, sometimes customer may be in need of that service, but if you provide bad pre-sale service also, it's going to reflect in repeat business. You may not get repeat business. And post-sale service is also extremely important. It reduces cognitive dissonance. If you give good post-sales and pre-sale service, it reduces cognitive dissonance. Customer is the first, as customer is the king, as we used to tell. Now it's changed. Customer comes first. Customer relation management initiatives, claim facilitation is there very fast now. Even before 3 months, the customer is advised to provide the papers to settle the claim on that date of maturity of the policy. There are several customer zones for LIC for the customer to reach. There is a successful interactive voice response system. LIC app they have introduced for smartphone servicing. There are dispute redressal committees in every divisional office. There is customer portal, excellent one. And all these 29.82 crore policies are now digitalized. It was a major drive which involved hundreds of crores of rupees. All the policies are now in digital platform, and the customers can get the service from anywhere in India, anywhere in the world, because it's in the digital platform. That is a revolutionary approach by the Life Insurance Corporation of India, and the offices with state-of-the-art facilities will help the customers to get the best service. Now, friends, actually, I have slightly modified. You will be entering students here, management students. They will be entering the job market now. Mostly in service sector they will be employed, as it's going to grow by 30 to 40% in the coming 5 or 6 years. The main 5 forces, the Michael Porter's model, I have slightly changed it for this purpose from my experience. These are the major elements of this 5 forces. These are the 5 forces which I faced or we face now. These are the critical success factors, and it is a major topic of my research also, critical success factors. See, the customer is always in indecision to go for it, to go for this or that. That indecision is there. You have to overcome that with your initiatives. Huge cutthroat competition is there in service sector. That also we have to take care. Customers, I am also a customer. I am also having very good bargaining power now, because if you are not there, I am getting another from, I'll go to somebody else. The government policy changes are also there every time it's going on, and there are threat from substitutes. If you are not liking a smoothie, they will go for cola Or if you don't like cola, they will go for a fresh juice. So substitutes are there. So that also we have to take care to retain the customer. The main thing is that in this scenario is customer retention. And these are the critical success factors. These 5 critical success factors, if you take care, the customer will be with you and you will be having a very profitable business. We have to build a competitive advantage to increase the customer base and identify the customer pain points. We have to enhance the customer experience. This is from my experience, I'm telling. It should be productivity linked, process linked, finance linked, and service linked. I'm talking about value proposition. We have to add value in all these areas: productivity, process, and the cost, and also the services. And it has to be, we have to sustain that competitive advantage by making service more desirable, aimed at more potential buyers. High quality, time tested, sustainable service we have to develop. More efficient personalized service we have to develop through constant innovation, economies of scale. It should be best output we have to get for that same amount of money. Efficient internal time-bound system to offer the service, and it should be ease of reach. Okay, ease of reach is there because since web-based services, ease of reach is there. It should be used perfectly. Another thing, major thing which I want to highlight is new markets and unexplored market. The service sector is actually trying to grow like anything. So with the present market, there is a limit for growth. The people who are going to enter the marketing area, the new entrepreneurs who are entering the marketing area, or who are going to start with startups, they have to try for new markets, new concepts, and they have to tap the unexplored markets. There are several new market segments which have to be identified in this huge country. We can data mine and refine the data. That based on the database, we can create a concept. We can add value to a present concept or product or service, and we can effectively penetrate and build a successful business. That's all add to the these all add to the innovation and building a good customer base. To sum up, friends, the major service sector is the major driver for the economy. We have to aim for building more sustainable businesses through constant service innovation, adding value to the service and widening the reach. Future is ours. The post-pandemic era is ours. We have to enter the market or remain in the market by existing customer database, enhancing the customer database, providing innovative service solutions. We have to constantly strive to identify new customer bases. We have to explore new markets. We have to find out unexplored markets. I remind you of the shoe seller who went to Africa. First shoe seller found no scope for any shoes because they were not wearing any shoes. And the second marketer went there and found that nobody is wearing shoes. There was a huge potential. Same thing remains here. That old story, we have to repeat. That potential is there, friends. We have to tap that. So that's all for now. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Rajagopan. It is a time of interaction. Right now, you can ask your queries, please. Participants, the session will be fruitful only if you clarify the queries. So I invite the participants for query clarification.
Make use of my 33 years of experience, please.
Right. You can fruitfully utilize.
Because I would like to talk to the students especially.
Sure. That is why.
Hello, sir.
Yes.
Sir, I'm Deepthi, student of ASM first year MBA. So I want to ask that, sir, nowadays the services industry, most of the services industry, institutions in services industry are getting privatized. For example, we can say there now the railway is going to privatize. Already, some of the service industry in public sector has been privatized. Then they're planning, government is planning to privatize LIC and GIC. So how it will affect the customers, prevailing customers? Because if the private the power of controlling us goes to the private hand, there is a chance of um, um, that customers may get
Yeah, the
how
service
they
may
will
come down,
yes
quality may come
come
down.
down,
That's what
quality may
yeah.
come down, and the chance of sir, I mean,
See, actually, it's not
yeah, how
privatization.
will affect?
Yeah,
Will
it's
affect
not
the
privatization.
customers.
Yeah. Actually, it is as far as Life Insurance Corporation of India is concerned, it's not privatization. Government had 100 crore share initially, that's capital. Now it's going to be increased by 25,000 crore, and 10% of that will be listed. So they are going to take some money from the market. So it's 10%. It may go up to 49%. It seems. But the government control will be there. The quality of service is also going to improve by that, because new initiatives will be there. It's not going to remain like that. New initiatives will be there, and the economy will also grow. See, it is owned by the government of India, the people of India, and the representatives are there in the parliament, both houses of the parliament, representing us. So now they are taking the decision. Once they have decided to nationalize the industry because of the problems of the private players at that time, 256 companies were merged to form Life Insurance Corporation of India. Now, 20 years back, they actually allowed private insurers to come in, but they have not grown like anything because there was ample chance for them to grow. But they proved to be I don't know. They have not proven their worth. It's still the market share of 80% is with the Life Insurance Corporation of India, at least with the funded schemes products are concerned. Others also say around 60 to 70% market share is with Life Insurance Corporation of India. No worry about that, because the sovereign guarantee of Life Insurance Corporation of India's products will remain. And other services, see the telecommunications industry, private players have come, just see how we have benefited by the entry of the private players. And in civil aviation sector, you can see how we have benefited by the entry of the private players. And just like that, maybe railway also, sometimes we may get good non-stinky compartments when it gets private players are also given an opportunity to provide services. But the government sector always will be there in parallel. As we know in Kerala, the KSRTC, I'm happy to travel anywhere in Kerala because some KSRTC service will be there, will be able to take me from there, and I can happily reach my hometown. So KSRTC services are everywhere, and the private services also are also there. The public sector should always be there in parallel. They have to prove their worth. They have to work more. And youngsters like you who are entering into the job market, you have to work hard to prove. When you are coming to a private industry or a public sector, you have to work hard to prove the worth. Anyway, we have to wait and see. The post-pandemic era is going to be very interesting. As a person who is interested in these developments, I am curiously watching this. Let's wait and see. Nothing to worry now. We are going to be, our economy is booming, and it's going to grow like anything. Especially the service sector is going to grow like anything. Just wait and see. I am very optimistic about that.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
In the chat box, there is one question asked by Deepthi S. Rajwal, please verify that chat box. There is one question.
Yeah, Deepthi S has asked, what are the digitization changes took place in marketing area of insurance sector? Huge changes are there in the insurance sector. I know about Life Insurance Corporation of India changes. Starting from the customer zone and EDMS, the Enterprise Document Management System. As I said earlier, all the documents pertaining to the customers are digitized now. And the documents pertaining to this 28.92 crore policyholders. It is there in the digital platform. So it will, the Life Insurance Corporation of India will be able to provide the service with ease. Customers in future, in few years, customers can get their service through web-based platforms sitting in their house. No need to go to any office. Now itself, the claims are settled at home itself without going there, without going to any office. Premium payments can be done through even mobile, through LIC apps. Such initiatives will continue. New avenues are opening, and we can expect more in the coming years in the post-pandemic era. For post-pandemic era, it's wrong to tell now because the pandemic is going to remain at least in a smaller scale for the next 3 or 4 years. Anyway, in the coming years, we can expect more initiatives from the life insurance sector. Another question is there. How can we measure innovation in service sector? It is asked by Dr. Sangeeta Padmanabhan. Actually, one problem with service and innovation is that it is not measurable. We cannot quantify the service and innovation also. We can innovate, we can provide good service. We are unable to quantify that. But one thing we can quantify, the performance-based revenue that we can quantify. If you provide good service, you will get good revenue. That will result in your books of accounts. On March 31st, when you close the books, you will find a huge difference in the figures. If we are going to provide, innovate, build a new concept, give good service to the customers, it will reflect in the books of accounts. So that's how it's going to happen. Now, anyway, we can find some methods to quantify that, but it's not fully successful. Service is not measurable. It is purely subjective. That makes it very difficult. Customer retention is very difficult. So skilled employees, good products, good service, and pre-sales and post-sale service, innovative product and services, that will make us remain in business and also give good results by the end of the day. Another question from Ms. Neha TJ. Sir, how can we implement new ideas or innovation in service marketing firms? One thing is that I have talked about co-creation. We have to talk to customers, or we have to go with customers with developing new concepts and new services. Same service, see, you can add value to the service. As I said earlier, productivity linked, service linked, process linked value additions can be done to the existing services. And I said, as I said earlier, when we go to the new markets or new customers, we can provide innovative services. A number of startups are there, unimaginable areas. That means, see, I'll tell you about OYO rooms. Nobody thought about OYO rooms, that service earlier, isn't it? It's very helpful. Go to any city in India, you will find OYO room, customized rooms with very cheap also, providing very good service. And see how the Make My Trip, Clear My Trip, Booking.com and all has flourished. It has revolutionized this hotel business. You just go to the web, Booking.com, 35 to 45% discount is there in this thing. And earlier it was, you call a hotel, they'll tell there is no vacancy. Or when they go there, they'll tell you there is no room. Reservation, phone-based reservations are also there, but it's not Pakka. It has revolutionized. Service revolution is taking place. So such kind of initiatives can be there. We can collaborate and see Swiggy, how Swiggy has grown. See how Uber has grown. So these kind of initiatives are there. And there are new markets which are hiding now. And you have heard of Blue Ocean strategy. We have to find new avenues for providing service and make a business out of it. What is the changing logics, Mr. Aranya KJ? What is the changing logistics of distribution of products or services in connection with the development of internet commerce? Now we are talking about a revolutionary industry. I am a very good customer of these startups or these companies. Several people have been employed in internet-based services, especially this delivery is done at your doorsteps in no time. So it is a sophisticated thing. It's a web-based technology. Highly successful softwares are used for providing excellent service. In that way, it is handled. The OR problem has minimized because of the using the good softwares. The OR problem has been minimized. So minimized, I'll underline that it's minimized. Still, the problems are there. Especially the international thing that problems are there. But nationwide, they have succeeded like anything for providing the logistic support for providing internet businesses. And I am surprised to watch this. I'm curiously watching the development, and I am a satisfied customer, to be frank, of all these web-based services, service at Footstep during this lockdown. I am using all those services now because I can sit at home and enjoy these services for a lesser cost. And I don't harm the environment by burning more petrol to reach somewhere 10 kilometers to get some service. If I want some good food products, I just order the food. It comes through the smartphone app. It comes here in half an hour time. And earlier it was pizza. You will get anything now, any kind of food now, even snacks also. You will get good quality. I'll underline good quality. So I'm a happy customer. So it is changing the scene very nicely, and happily we are using that. Another question, Rajidan. Recently, some of our airports were privatized. The Navaratna companies like PEML and the companies like Instrumentation and Control are on the verge of privatization. What is the overall impact of privatization of public sector companies in the Indian economy, according to you? See, I work for public sector. Of course, there are certain doubts in the minds of the employees and customers. But change is inevitable. We have to change. And if we have to grow, we have to change. As some earlier greeting said, we will not step into same river, isn't it? Always. It's constantly changing. Just like that, economy is also change. Change is the driver for the economy, whether it is private sector or public sector. There is ample scope for development in public sector and also private sector. These policy changes are decided by the responsible people in the government, the democratically elected people. So some issues are there here and there, but we are attracting very good foreign direct investment to India, and it will provide huge employment opportunities. By the arrival of, by the advent of globalization and all, and development of internet-based services, the FDI has increased like anything. We are expecting more in the coming months, and the economy is going to boom like anything. Your GDP is going to grow by say around 10%, 15% in the coming years. Just wait for that, and we can always go back, isn't it? If it's not good, we can always go back. No, that flexibility is there because we have come from a private sector to a public sector, and government is actually looking for privatizing only companies with bad performance, not performing well. Good companies will always remain in the public sector, but they will be listed also. They will be listed. There will be listed companies. Let us wait and see, because it's the first time we are experiencing this. But change is inevitable. I am for change. I don't know whether I support this privatization or not, but I support change.
One more question asked by Sangeeta. One more question. How can we measure the innovation in service sector? Measurement
that I have answered, sir.
Answered. Okay. Then no other questions, eh?
So was it useful? These answers are useful to you, friends?
Any more queries? Participants, please. It is the right time to clarify your queries because we have got a very good practically oriented person. Moreover, service marketing is one of the purpose offered by our university for MBA students in the 4th sem. So we will teach this paper next semester. Running semester is 3rd semester, and we will shortly commence 4th semester. And in the 4th semester, there will be one paper by name service marketing. So your talk will be very useful for them.
This example of this public sector can be used. Insurance sector, that's service marketing mix can be taken as example.
Sure. Okay, otherwise we will wind up. Okay, any more clarifications from the side of the participants? Please rise. Okay, Rajawal, thank you. Now it is a turn of vote of thanks. Now over to.
It looks like we have covered all of your questions. Thank you, sir, for giving your valuable insights on service marketing innovations. The webinar was very informative and interesting. It's such a privilege to have you here, sir. The feedback form is available in the chat box. All of you, please fill the form. Now, let's move to the final session. I invite Dr. Ashna Siddiq, Assistant Professor, Ahalya School of Management, for the official vote of thanks.
Thank you, Merlin. A warm good evening to one and all. I deem it a great honor and privilege to propose a vote of thanks for today's national webinar. I, on behalf of my college and entire team, first of all start by giving glory to the Almighty God for making today's program a resounding success. First and foremost, I thank our resource person, Dr. Rajagopal Kamath, who despite his busy schedule has found time to enlightening us with his commendable talk on the subject, Service Marketing Innovations. Thank you, sir.
Okay.
Further, I would like to extend my sincere gratitude to Professor Dr. B. Vijaychandran Pillai, sir, Principal and Director of Ahalya School of Management, for his esteemed presence and valuable support. Thank you, sir. Also, I would like to extend a hearty vote of thanks to Mr. EPB Regidan, sir, Executive Director, Ahalya Group of Academic Institution, for all the support and guidance he has given us. Thank you, sir. I owe special gratitude to the teaching and non-teaching staff of Ahalya School of Management, who have worked hard to ensure that this event becomes a memorable success. Thank you all. Last but not the least, I thank all the participants who spent their valuable time to attend this webinar and for making it a successful one. Once again, I thank you all for your attention. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Now, to conclude the session, let's raise for the national anthem.
जनगण मन अधिनायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता पंजाब सिंध गुजरात मराठा द्राविड उत्कल बंगा विंध्य हिमाचल यमुना गंगा उच्चल जलधि तरंगा तब शुभ नामे जाहे तब शुभ आशीष माहे गाहे तब जय गाथा जनगण मंगलदायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता जय हे जय हे जय हे जय 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 हे.
We have come to the end of our webinar. I would like to thank everyone who made this meeting possible. Thank you all. Now you all can sign off.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
Okay, thank you. You can sign out, please. You can sign out.